What's up, guys, and welcome to Rise of the Aetherlift Astra Zoo. So it's now Astra season, and to kick things off, I do want to get a bit of unfortunate news out of the way. I believe that after this week's recording of AR Offense, I may not put out a video every day for that because uploading and editing the videos take far too much time, and especially if I have to start commuting to work again, because right now I'm working from home. I don't think I have the leeway to do that, so what I'm thinking of doing is maybe taking a page out of fellow AR tubers' Banana Lounge's book and uploading maybe every week at least a video should I find any interesting defense teams, but nothing confirmed or like set in stone regarding that issue just yet. So after getting that out of the way, I want to, I guess, sort of talk about my defense results. We got 2 matches today. The first person, Shisuseru, I believe, and actually 80. Neither of them had Astra mythics for some reason, which I found to be quite weird, given that everybody should have a free Altina. And yeah, I guess they just decided to go in with it. Yeah, so the next topic of discussion here would be, I suppose, my Astra offense setups, right? So following my movement type check team from Light, which used LA Roy and Halloween Hector, this is a I suppose you could call it Flyers, like a Fate theme team. Not really, because of Verse is there, but she's mostly there for debuffing and support. The star of the show is really Hinoka with Warrior Princess, who is supposed to help me check both armors and flyers. And originally I wanted to try and use like some of my Elibe units instead for Astra, but given how like difficult Astra season can be, I opted to run more, I suppose, optimal units rather than units that I wanted to try and make work, which I could kind of force my way through with Light. With Astra season in particular, I suppose I could have tried using Summerlin, who has the same weapon effect essentially, but she is colored, so, and I do want to stick to my I guess rule of not switching Lin off of her Wind Blessing. So I guess that's just me. It's just my preferred playstyle. Don't judge me for it. I do have like another bow unit built up aside from like my Lin's, which is Klein, but he's more of like a different sort of beast entirely. He's like player phase and whatnot. I don't know if I really want to retool his kit entirely for like a close counter vantage set. So yeah, I guess we'll leave it at that. Camilla is like an excellent support for flyers and cavalry. So on seasons where either one of the mythics is the bonus, I would have her support both Hinoka and like a cavalry unit on another team, which I'll get to in a bit. So yeah, that's the first team, movement type checks, mostly flyers and armor. And the second team I named Arcadia. This is my sole really Elibe or Binding Blade team on Astra, which I use as a tank setup. So I have my Sophia, who's summoner supported for Astra. She does have the Fey Pass, the Resplendent outfit. I decided to change back to her original artwork in with respect to the thumbnail that I set up for Astra Season AR, but I may change that back tomorrow. But basically, she's the giraffe. She's got the long neck, And her support partner is Faye, who's running Infantry Breath to actually get Sophia to be able to take out ranged colorless and greens, and to an extent reds, with instant glimmer on enemy phase. And I had considered like another set of A skills and special sacred seals, but I didn't have like a bunch of expensive fodder to really give away to everybody, so I feel like Triangle Adept is a sort of budget but still very useful skill for Sophia. And same kind of goes for Faye. I just ended up having her run like Fury Vantage, so she's like a distant counter Vantage sort of unit, though the problem with Astra is that seems to be like a very common theme among my units. Like Faye's got the distant counter Vantage, Altina's got the distant counter Vantage, Hinoka's got the close counter Vantage, so I don't know, I'm just running a whole bunch of Vantage units, I suppose. Shirena is also the other bonus unit for this week. I would normally have her give me the bonus unit stats, and given that Altina is the bonus unit this week, I could opt out of Shirena, but I don't really have too many other Astra Blessed units which I think synergize well with these two. I mean, Shirena has enough HP with bonus stats to provide like infantry pulse, and she's also got like Gale Force, which I think can be pretty helpful. Sophia's build is also there to help me check like cav lines. Like with all of those Razzle Dazzle healers who just rush down, I just knock them out in one hit. And Faye can sort of check like the hard-hitting blues like Reinhardt and Ophelia. I mainly opted to run Fury because of like blazing AoE specials off of Ophelia and other potential like mages. And I suppose dagger units if they, or well, not necessarily dagger, but like physical ranged units if they opt to run an AoE special. But that's the gist of this team. It's like a sort of double tank or dual tank setup. And this next team, actually, I opted to sort of run my Selkie, which I pulled alongside Valoria during her initial release banner. And when I first rolled for her, I got her up to +3, I believe. The other 3 copies I got from spooks on various other banners, so I consider myself lucky with this. And at first, I wasn't really sure what to do about a third team because the other 2 setups that I have are actually Gale Force. So this third team, I just kind of decided, you know what, I'll throw in my Selkie, I'll have her be like a magic tank specialist, and so that's kind of her role. Her support units are Corrin and during Mythic bonus unit seasons, Camilla. I had considered Kaden, but and that technically would be more synergistic to an extent, I suppose, but I had Kaden blessed for light season, and I'm not convinced that I need to re-bless him for Astra. Then again, I don't really use Kaden on light season anymore, so that's definitely something I have to consider for future reference. Corrin is Selkie's support partner. And I guess I forgot to mention that Faye and Sophia are support partners, so there's that. And Camilla and Hinoka are support partners. So, yeah, so Corrin's there to provide all of the in-combat buffs, and I've opted to make this the sole team where I tried running visible buffs, because I usually don't like to run visible buffs on Astras, mainly because of Thrasir and Panic Smoke. But if I have to face a Thrasir, Selkie likely wouldn't be the one to face her. I'd probably just use a different team, to be honest. Even given the fact that Selkie is like a dedicated res tank, the color disadvantage and the like instant flashing blade moonbow is like a huge problem for me. And Selkie honestly just doesn't have enough attack to take out like a Thrasir in one hit. So I've just opted to make this my visible buff team, and it's worked, but I don't really use this team too much. But then again, like, given that I have 2 Gale Force setups, I don't really need to rely too heavily on the other ones. I would say that Team 5 is the Gale Force setup and the offense setup that I use the most. A quick sort of explanation about the setup is that I have 1 ranged unit who takes advantage of Infantry Pulse to have reduced cooldown for her AoE special and Savage Blow to sort of substitute the role of a Bolt Tower, basically, because Duma's Upheaval is able to sort of threaten Bolt Towers on Astra and Anima season. So I made this team with the intention of keeping the Bolt Tower around as more of a safety net rather than a lifeline, so that even if my Bolt Tower got destroyed, I still have an alternative. And having a dagger unit on a Gale Force, I mean a ranged unit on a Gale Force setup actually helps me sort of get rid of certain structures that are in the way while not getting into dangerous territory. So that's like a boon. And I would say the focus of this team, or this setup, is Valoria because of her gimmick in her weapon, Wolf Pup Fang, and that allows her to reduce her and her allies' special cooldown by 2 at the start of the battle. And her support partner is usually the bonus unit of the Astra trio on rotation. This can also include Fjorm, but that would vary depending on the elemental season. If it's not water, then it's kind of moot, and I just opt maybe not to run my Gale Force setup entirely. But for the most part, this has been pretty consistent. Sharena and the Astra trio usually run slaying weapons so that they have 4 turn cooldown on their Gale Force, and Valoria gets 1 cooldown extra from Infantry Pulse off the bonus unit. So both of these Gale Forcers basically have 2 turn cooldown Gale Forces. So that's like the gist of this team. I actually built this tale to you today because I was trying to construct an alternative Gale Force team in case my Kagero's assist wasn't really ideal for the situation at hand. And I found that the other assist that I would like to use on my Wings of Mercy beacon would be drawback. And while I could have built another +4 Kagero, I don't think I have like that many resources to invest into like another refined weapon, another like 80,000 feathers and whatnot. So I took a look at my options. I really wanted to try running like my Egren or like Legendary Lyn during win seasons, but both of them have a bit too much HP and not enough attack in my opinion. And so I sort of abandoned the idea of using units that I liked for this role, unfortunately. And I went back to looking up some like stats and unit skills, and I found that Tale to You actually fit the bill perfectly if she was an HP Bane. And so the sort of guideline to choosing a ranged unit for this kind of setup is that they have to have a slaying effect or a special cooldown reduction effect in their weapon. And for mages, this is a little limited because there are very few mages that have a reduced cooldown effect in their weapon. But Tale 2 has the Wrath effect built into her Tome of Thoron. And, I mean, with this sort of playstyle, she's gonna have like 50% HP or less most of the time anyway, if you're successful. So it's going to allow you to reach 4 turn cooldown on Growing Wind. Other units for as a mage could be like, I suppose, Ishtar or Lizithia, I think. But for physical range units, or just range units in general, basically 36 HP is the guideline that you want to have. You can try to look for HP Banes on like 39 and 40 HP tops if they have a Super Bane. But basically 36 HP is the number that you want to hit prior to receiving the Astra bonus stats. and 36 outside of it. So that's something to look out for. I just chose Tailtew because she was the only unit that I had at that time with the perfect IV spread that I could build. And yeah, so this is actually my first time using her this first week. So we'll see. Her Sacred Seal could be... I'm going to play around with it for a bit. Attack Speed 2 is a choice. Attack +3 is a choice. Quicken Pulse for quicker, I guess, special cooldown. So as opposed to waiting 2 turns, I only have to wait 1 turn. I can't run Savage Blow, unfortunately, because I already relegated that to Kagero. So I suppose another option would be to run like maybe a Chill or a Smoke skill, so that my Gale Forcers have an easier time with stat checks. But yeah, so that's basically my team. I have 2 Gale Force setups, one that's a movement type check in Warrior Princess Hinoka, and a dual tank setup, mostly checking cav lines and colorless green ranged units with Sophia, and a magic-oriented check in Selkie. So now that we've went over the teams, we'll just get right into it. And this looks to be a sort of pseudo armor ball of sorts, so I think I know where I'm going with this first match. I mean, is there... My bolt tower is like lined up right on the spot, like on the dot too. So honestly, is there is there any other choice? Unfortunately, I won't get to show off my Gale Force strat today, but hopefully we'll have the chance to soon. So I'm just gonna go ahead. I'm not even gonna calculate stuff. I'm just gonna go ahead and choose my my Hinoka and Camilla team. This just seems too easy. And I know that I'm saying this, and if it ends up biting me in the ass later, I'm just... I mean, I deserve it. But, yeah, this honestly doesn't seem hard at all. I'm just gonna go ahead and test the traps real quick. Probably keep Aversa out of there, just because I want her to stay healthy for panic debuffs. Yeah, I suppose Altina and Hinoka can be the ones to trigger it. Worst case scenario, if the lightning traps don't do that much, I can park in front of the bolt tower and then make my move. I noticed that this Robin has Vantage, so if it comes down to that, I may just wait in front of him and let him run into me instead. So, yeah, we'll just go ahead and do that then.
Time to fly.
Let's see. Okay, go ahead and break that. I guess not. Okay, so that was a 50 trap.
Alright. It will be done.
Go ahead and break this face statue. And
You have my trust.
move everybody up.
So big and strong.
I don't see any harm in breaking this Aether. Oh, and actually, it looks like I have a fortress advantage because I noticed that this person had an armor school, and I was wondering why they had that when that was last week's bonus structure, I believe. So, yeah, this honestly is not going to be hard at all. Okay.
Got him in my sights.
So, unfortunately, without Camilla's support, Hinoka can't do enough damage, but I think we can rectify that. Once I take out Kanagas, technically Jafar can target this tile, so I don't want to move Camilla there. I'm gonna go ahead and move Naga down then. Move Camilla over this way. And then target Kanagas. Alright, so we'll go ahead and do that.
With utter certainty.
Go ahead and break the street lamp. Let's see. What can Aversa do? Not much, to be honest. I think I'm just gonna go ahead and move her closer to her teammates. And she's She's gonna stay out of sight of Duma's range. Okay. And now we can take out the Black Knight. Let's see. Alright, so I guess we'll go ahead and do that. Well, let's see. I guess I actually do want to calculate how much damage Hinoka is going to do to that Jafar. So there's going to be one ward. Jafar will have 42. I'm going to defense smoke him, so that'll put him at 35.
Time to fly.
And Camilla will provide +9, +2, so that's +11 to Hinoka.
Got him in my sights.
Hinoka's gonna have 64, 75, and then half of 75 is 37, so that's 112. So 112 minus 35 is, should be like 77, I think? 112 minus 35. Yeah, that should be 77, so even if he restores 20 HP from that healing tower, it's not going to do much. So I'm going to go ahead and
I got this.
target that Black Knight then. And move Camilla over. And
Yes.
move Naga within range so that the following turn, Altina can target the Grima, I believe, with Divine Fang.
Certainly.
So go ahead and enter in here. $83, alright, even better. Okay, so my main concern here is that Lif is also in attack range if I decide to move Altina up. So what do I want to do here? I think
Consider it done.
if I park Altina right in front of Grima and move Camilla within 2 spaces, that shouldn't be a problem. Liv can attack me once, but he shouldn't be able to one-shot Altina. So let's see here.
So big and strong.
Traversa can take out this Duma, and then Hinoka can take out that Aether.
Got him in my sights. You have my trust.
Okay.
What is your desire?
So we'll go ahead and put
Certainty.
Naga behind Altina for extra support. And move Camilla over, and that should be the end of the map. Zero damage. All right. I don't know. I'm a lot more cautious than I probably should be, to be honest. But I suppose that's partly due to the fact that I can be pretty competitive, and I don't like losing. But you know, it is what it is. Yeah, so that was the first match of the day. Short and sweet, though the recording was not up to par as usual, so I'm definitely gonna have to figure something out in regards to what I should use to record the in-game stuff. Yeah, there's not really much else to say here, so I guess we'll cut the video here and we'll see each other again tomorrow. Take care, guys.